Hello, good morning. You're watching Market Cafe on ET Now. This is a show where we will take you all through all the important global cues that have happened overnight, how is the US market closing, as well as more domestic news and stocks to watch out for. I'm Vinny Motiwala, along with me, Sneha as well. Sneha, very good morning to you. US markets have not ended up a bad note, right? We're seeing a positive close coming in at least. Hoping for a positive start, but seems like at least a Nifty implied is not indicating that. A muted start, maybe that dullness that we've seen in the market. Hope that doesn't continue, but US handover, nothing bad.
Absolutely, and Vinny, on the implied open also not as bad as we saw in the last 2 days, so some positivity coming over there. US markets, however, deep in the red day before yesterday, but high and nice in the green yesterday. Now it was a tech-fueled rally yesterday. Nasdaq was the index that stole the show. Nasdaq was up 1.5%, almost 1.3% uptick coming in over there, 200 points uptick coming in on Nasdaq. So Nasdaq is the one that drove all the gains on Wall Street today. Dow added almost 200 points as well. Dow was up almost 0.5%. S&P 500 also an 0.8% uptick coming in on the S&P 500 as well. Key to note is the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq have now turned positive for 2024 after the moves that they saw yesterday. Now on a weekly basis, the Nasdaq is standing out with a 0.5% gain, while the Dow is down 0.3%. S&P 500 marginally lower in the red, but not much to worry about there as well. Now Thursday's gains were powered by major advances in the technology sector after Bank of America upgraded shares of Apple to a buy rating. The Apple stock closed 3.3% higher, marking its best day since 5th May of last year, which is 2023. And tech shares rallied even as the 10-year Treasury yield topped 4.1%. Now today, traders will watch out for December's existing home sales reading, a reflection on the current state of the US housing market. Preliminary consumer sentiment data is also due today morning. So, these are largely the moves on Wall Street. Good action, we can say, that came in intraday yesterday. Let's see how Wall Street performs today. With that, let's also shift focus and talk about the European markets, and all across the screen, all I can see is green as well, because European markets have also done pretty well. They closed higher on Thursday as investors continue to monitor news and comments from the World Economic Forum in Davos. Stock 600 index was up 0.5% by the close, coming off the back of 3 negative sessions as well. DAX up 0.8%, FTSE up almost 0.2%, CAC up 1% as well, and Stock 600, like I said, 0.6% uptick. Now today, ECB President Christine Lagarde and IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva will be speaking in Davos as well. So that will be some key commentary to watch out for. So largely good and strong global handover coming in, Vinny. Let's see how that pans out for our markets this morning. We can hope for some positive moves, but let's see how that happens, and take us through what's happening in the world of oil.
Absolutely, it's going to be interesting from the global cues because S&P 500 managed to close at its highest level as well. So that's interesting. But oil prices, on the other hand, have seen a rise as well. And why? Because we're seeing the International Energy Agency now, following OPEC, is also saying that they're forecasting a growth in terms of the oil demand. And as the cold winter weather is settling in, that is disrupting some bit of the US crude output that we've seen, while the government has reported a big weekly draw in terms of the crude inventory. So yes, there was more supply, more demand that we are seeing coming in, and that is why the crude oil inventories have seen a slip coming in as well. Also, worries continue around the Red Sea issue as well. The oil traders are worried about these geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, and obviously that's one concern that has been going on and doing the rounds as well. So overnight, yes, we did see a sharp jump up coming in the Brent crude oil prices, so keeping an eye out on that. But this morning, Brent crude oil prices are quite subdued. And Asian markets opening trade right now, when you're seeing Brent crude oil, $79 per barrel mark is what the Brent crude oil is trading at, a bit of a decline of 0.1%. WTI crude oil too is seeing a slight bit of an uptick of 0.1%. So keeping an eye out on oil prices and where they're headed as well. And obviously staying with crude, like I was mentioning, the International Energy Agency has joined OPEC in raising the 2024 global oil demand forecast. Now obviously, let's not forget, this is important to note that their guidance is coming in a tad bit lower than what OPEC has already given. It is IEA's forecast that added that the market looked well supplied because of the strong growth outside the producer group. The IEA expects oil demand to peak at by 2030 as the world is going to be shifting more towards the cleaner oil fuels and cleaner fuels as well. A view is coming in from OPEC that dismissed recently, but according to the organized organization, global consumption is slated to rise by 1.24 million barrels per day in 2024, making it the third straight upward revision in the months. So that is something important that we're keeping an eye out on in terms of oil prices as well, Snehi.
Well, absolutely, and lots of important cues also to watch out for when we talk about today's trading session. Not much will be happening globally, but from the UK, we will have the retail sales data coming in. Now, two major IT companies will be trading ex-dividend today, and that's TCS as well as HCL Tech. And also another stock in focus will be Mass Financial, because that will also be trading ex-dividend today. The board of DCX System will be meeting today to mull fundraising plans, and two counters that will be in focus today will be Tin Plate as well as Tata Steel, because Tin Plate India holders will get Tata Steel shares post the merger today. Today's a record date for that as well. Shifting focus to the primary markets, then the EPAC Durable IPO will be opening for subscription today, and the lock-in period is also going to be ending for Utkarsh Small Finance Bank. Remember, 60.5% of its equity is going to be coming out of lock-in today, so watch out on that counter as well. And when it comes to the other events, then the US Congress has already passed the spending agreement bill that the deadline for that was yesterday. They've passed that bill today, and Christine Lagarde, like I mentioned earlier, will be speaking in Davos today. PM Modi will be visiting 3 states today in one day to launch a whole host of projects, and that's Maharashtra, Karnataka as well as Tamil Nadu. You also have the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. He will be visiting Africa, the parts Uganda, Nigeria over there. And Rolls-Royce Spectre will be making its debut in India. This is Rolls-Royce's first electric vehicle. So watch out for all of these cues in today's trading session.
Absolutely, keeping an eye on all those important cues for the domestic as well as global market. But let's look at some of the other top global news flows that is coming in. And as we're coming to a closure to the end of the Mega World Economic Forum, let's take a look at how India played its role this year. India's launches dominated the main promenade street of Davos with repurposed storefronts focused on female leadership, empowerment as well as digital infrastructure. For India, the World Economic Forum was closing mega agreements with Maharashtra, Telangana and Karnataka, expecting trillions of dollars worth of investment. These states have also been touting themselves as tech hubs for manufacturing and artificial intelligence. Meanwhile, RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das sounded very optimistic over India's economic growth story amidst these challenging global macroeconomic environment. And while the US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken also patted India's back for an extraordinary success story. Now let's take a look at what the corporate leaders had to say on the day 4 of World Economic Forum. Morgan Stanley CEO Ted Pick expressed confidence that his bank will hit financial target of $10 trillion in client assets and a 20% return. He also shares his top 3 priorities for sticking to the strategy laid out by the predecessor James Gorman, maintaining the bank's culture and achieving the targets as well. Meanwhile, let's not forget the cloud-based computer software company Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff also said that and sounded cautious as he warns that the technology industry is working to make sure artificial intelligence is developed very safely enough to ensure that the world avoids a Hiroshima moment. And he also acknowledges that amid this rapid pace of progress, technology could really go wrong as well. So a lot that has happened, especially for coming in from Davos in the World Economic Forum scene.
Well, absolutely, Winnie. And now let's shift focus from Davos and talk about the US, because the number of Americans filing new claims for unemployment benefits has fallen to the lowest level in nearly 1.5 years, suggesting job growth likely remained solid in January as well. Initial claims for state unemployment benefits dropped 16,000 to a seasonally adjusted 187,000 for the week gone by. The unexpected decline in initial claims reported added to a strong retail sales growth in December, in painting an upbeat picture for the economy.
And Atlanta's Federal Reserve President Bostic expects policymakers to start cutting rates in the third quarter of this year. He further adds that inflation is well on its way back to the central bank's goal, and however, he's also said that the golden path of reining in inflation while promoting and prompting growth and employment is getting closer than Fed's officials had actually expected.
Well, and staying with the news flow from the United States, then the Congress has given a go-ahead for temporary funding to avert a partial government shutdown. The move to largely help avert a partial shutdown from the 1st of March to the 8th of March, the stopgap bill has now been sent to Joe Biden for approval.
And popular social media platform Reddit is moving closer towards the plans for an IPO in March. Move makes the company the first social media giant to go public since Pinterest in 2019. Reddit's IPO plans come amid intense competition among the platforms in advertising domain and from platforms like TikTok and Meta.
Well, and there is no end to the layoffs galore. Citigroup informs managers in markets, risk and investment banking that they were reportedly being let go as a part of reorganization. Meanwhile, automotive supplier Bosch is planning to cut up to 1,500 jobs at its German sites by 2025 to adapt to changing demand and technologies. While that was that, Google's Sundar Pichai reportedly informed employees to expect more job cuts as well. The move is set to bolster execution rates and drive velocity in select areas. Retail giant Amazon too said that it was laying off 5% of its employees at its Buy with Prime unit.
And the top headline on the domestic front, railways are gearing up for a divine spectacle as it brings live streaming of Lord Ram's Pran Pratishtha ceremony in Ayodhya to over 9,000 screens at stations nationwide. Also, starting 23rd of Jan, 200 Asta special trains will run from all prominent Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities across the country. Let's go across to Samir Dikshit, who's joining in with us with more details on that. Samir?
Indian Railways has got special plans for Prabhu Shri Ram Nagari Ayodhya and for devotees, those who are looking to have the first glimpse or darshan of Ram Lala. So Railways is planning to run 200 special train, the Astha special train to Ayodhya Dham Junction. And these special train will run post 22nd of January when Pran Pratishtha ceremony will take place. As per the plan, 200 special Astha special train will run, and this will run up to 100 days from 22nd of January. Now, the ticketing will be initiated at the IRCTC website. All the bookings will be done through IRCTC website, and these charges like GST, superfast charges, these all charges will be applicable. One interesting part is that the meal that will be served on board the train will be pure vegetarian meal that will be served to the passengers or the devotees. Also, as per the plan that we have accessed, and sources have informed that almost all the prominent Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities will have trains that will originate from these cities, and the final destination is going to be Ayodhya Dham Junction. For example, trains have been planned from northeastern states like Assam, Guwahati. Trains have been planned from states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Jammu Kashmir, Telangana, Tamil Nadu. So almost all states and from prominent cities, these trains will originate, and it will come to Ayodhya Dham Junction. And 200 such trains will run for a period of 100 days. Government understands that this will give a lot of boost to the tourism and also will help to revive the economy of Ayodhya and the nearby region.
All right, thanks Samir for taking us through all of those details. It's going to be a massive spectacle to watch out for on Monday. But with that, we'll slip into a very short break. When we return, we'll see how the Asian markets are doing as we speak. So you stay tuned. Hi there, welcome back and thanks so much for staying tuned to Market Cafe. This is ET Now. Winnie, run us across what's happening across the Asian markets. Looks positive, but tell us what's happening.
So looks positive, yes, positive handover from the US markets. But other than that, when you look at the third largest economy, that's Japan, that's actually managed to see a good number in terms of the inflation rate. When you look at it, the inflation rate is hit the lowest levels in Japan since June 2022, cooling off to 2.6% from 2.8% in November. So clearly, when you look at Nikkei, look at the jump up that we've seen coming in today as well, 1.64% uptick. Last 3 3 days it was actually closing in the red, but today surely a very, very strong footing is what Japan is managing to do. And let's not forget, Bank of Japan will be coming out with its monetary policy that will be kickstarting next week as well. So just before that, if this inflation rate data is coming in, which is at the lowest point since June 2022, that's interesting to watch out for, right? At least when it comes to the third largest economy. Let's move on, talk about KOSPI as well. That too is rising in trade today as well. As of now, KOSPI is also holding on to almost 1% of trade of gains as of now in KOSPI as well. ASX 200, that's the Australian index, that's managing to hold on to good gains, 1.23%. Actually, as of now, it is 0.8% of gain for ASX 200. Let's not forget, that also has snapped its losing streak in the last couple of trading sessions that it was seeing. So that's how that is standing at. Pull up the charts for something like an Hang Seng. Where is that standing at? It did start a bit on the positive footing there as well. So it's managing to hold on to a positive footing as of now as well. That's Hang Seng for y'all. And even Shanghai managing to hold on to some bit of mutedness actually as of now. Not that bad of a fall, but Shanghai is a bit muted. Other than that, everything is on a very strong footing. Nifty implied, we've spoken about this before as well. That too is indicating a bit of a muted start, but hoping that the handover is quite positive. That could turn out to be positive as well. But Nifty implied open as of now down almost 14 points a trade.
Alright, and with that, here's a programming note as we bring you more action from Davos. Now, home to the startup and technology hub of the country, Bengaluru, Karnataka is showcasing the prowess of innovation and advancement in India at the World Economic Forum 2024 being held in Davos, Switzerland. Apart from a showcase, the state's Minister of Large and Medium Industries, M.B. Patil, joined a panel themed bolstering the semiconductor value chain in emerging economies. Other dignitaries at the discussion were Matthew Putman, the co-founder and CEO at Nanotronics, and Jevog Mantyashan, the Deputy Minister of High-Tech Industry, Republic of Armenia. During the discussion, M.B. Patil delved into the growth and evolution of the semiconductor industry in the state and the government's efforts towards making it a globally leading presence in some parts of the value chain of semiconductors.
On that note, we're going to slip into a very short break, but
Hi there, welcome back. You're still watching Market Cafe on ET Now. Thanks so much for staying tuned. Now, in recent days, we've noticed a significant increase in flight delays. Indigo CEO Peter Elbers mentioned that airlines are assessing the fog situation and also highlighted experiencing the worst fog condition in many years. He was speaking at the Wings India Confluence in Hyderabad, and here's what we got from what he had to say. Listen in.
Today, everyone, of course, is looking and evaluating what precisely happened, what happened at the Christmas peak, what happened actually last Sunday. And if you see, and I'm sure all of you have seen some of the statistics, we actually had probably the worst fog in many, many years. And actually, when I arrived here in Hyderabad itself today morning, one of my colleagues at the airport said, we haven't had fog here for such a long time, and it came all the way down to this part. And many of our stations in northern India were severely impacted by the fog situation. 86 destinations we're having, as I mentioned, roughly 1/3 is in the northern part of India. So if northern India is under a blanket of deep fog, we're having a challenge.
Okay, and keeping it with the aviation space, then India's newest airline Akasa Air stole the show on the first day of Wings 2024 by announcing 150 Boeing 737 MAX orders. ED Now Sumit Chaturvedi caught up with Akasa Airlines CEO Vinay Dubey in an exclusive interaction to know more about the airline's flight path to the new delivery.
So these 150 aircraft will start delivering in the middle of 2027. And will deliver through 2032. That's the time frame for these 150 aircraft. And the existing orders that we have 2 orders that total 76 aircraft, and these will be between now and the middle of 2027.
And talking about further taking these help of these aircraft to expand, how are you going to expand with these aircraft? What can you share with us a bit about the timeline of expansion?
Yeah, so from an aircraft perspective, we hope to be an airline that has about 76 aircraft by the middle of 2027, over 200 aircraft as we turn, the decade. We think by that point, we will be one of the top 30 largest airlines in the world. So very, very proud moment. with a lot of domestic and international expansion as well. As you know, we fly to 17 destinations today. We've announced our 18th destination domestically. And in terms of our expansion and roadmap, the next big step is for us to fly internationally, which we hope to start very soon here.
And you have chosen Boeing now. You're clearly not taken so far from Airbus. Is one aircraft manufacturer going to be the line from where you will buy these planes, or will you consider some others later on?
Yeah, I think, aircraft purchase decisions are very complex. Certainly the simplicity of flying with one manufacturer, in fact with one fleet type, with one engine type and one cockpit, is very beneficial.
Well, that's the word coming in from the management of Akasa Air. But at the ongoing Wings 2024 aviation show in Hyderabad, Air India has also unveiled new Airbus A350. The aircraft is cost-effective, more fuel-efficient and has lower emissions. With this, Air India has become the first operator in India to induct the A350 in its fleet. Sumit Chaturvedi also caught up with the Air India CEO Campbell Wilson to know more about this strategy with the new aircraft induction. Listen into a slice of their chat.
Well, this is really the reveal of the new Air India in the flesh, so to speak. This is our first A350. It's Airbus's most modern jetliner. It is Air India's first new aircraft with the new livery, the new interiors, the new colour scheme, our new amenities, our new in-flight entertainment system. And really it signals the next phase of our transformation. Up until now, since privatization, we've been really strengthening the foundations and building the capability to grow.
And talking about your whole transformation from here on, we are standing in the first month of the new calendar year. For talking about 2024, what all things will you do? What all we are going to see from the new Air India as far as the transformation or the new avatar of Air India is concerned?
Well, as I've said, this is the start of seeing the new fleet, the new onboard product, the new entertainment systems in the flesh. This being the first A350, but as we get the other 6 and then we restart refitting all of our existing wide-body aircraft, people will see it increasingly frequently.
And talking about the general market, about the airfares, what is your outlook for the next few months when we talk about the airfares? How do you think they are going to be? What kind of estimate you have for the airfares?
Airfares are a function of supply and demand, so it really depends on how the economy is. Economic forecast is looking good, so who knows?
Okay, that was an exciting update and all the aviation names coming in there. So
Together,
that is surely one to watch out for. But on that note, we're going to step into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more stock-specific news after the break.
Hi there, welcome back and thanks so much for staying tuned to Market Cafe. Let's shift focus to some Q3 numbers, and big boy Reliance is all set to deliver its Q3 numbers later today. So let's go across to my colleague Somit to find out what the street is penciling in from this major company. Somit.
Well, for Reliance Industries, if you see, it is expected to be a muted set of numbers. Revenues are expected to be high by around 2%, but on the EBITDA front, we can see a decline of around 1.7%. Margins are expected to contract by nearly 70 basis points, while net profit is expected to be low by around 3%. Now, if you see segment-wise performance, it is the O2C segment, which is expected to report a decimal sequential performance, 12% drop, which will lead to an entire EBITDA dropping by around 1.7%. Apart from that is the retail segment, which will see a healthy growth of around 7%, while the gas exploration segment is also expected to report an 8% growth on a sequential basis. Now, the reason why O2C segment is expected to report a weak performance is because of lower throughput and lower spreads. Now, lower spreads are because petrochemical margins were lower and throughput were lower because there was a planned shutdown in the third quarter of FY23. Retail segment, FY24, retail segment would benefit on the back of higher footfalls, store expansion and operating leverage, while the gas exploration segment is expected to benefit owing to higher gas production and because of lower costs that we had seen in the third quarter of FY24. To sum it up, it's the O2C segment that would report a decimal performance. Apart from that, all the other segments are expected to report a sequential growth.
Okay, but Somit, do tell us, what are we expecting specifically from Reliance Jio as well in terms of numbers?
Well, nothing exciting also expected from Reliance Jio. Revenue, EBITDA, net profit all expected to grow anywhere between 2.5 to 3 odd %. ARPU number is expected to be high by around 1 odd %, and this will be the 7th consecutive quarter where Reliance Jio will see a growth in their subscriber base. So owing to the subscriber base and marginal growth in the ARPU, we are seeing a higher revenue, EBITDA, and net profit number for Reliance Jio. Apart from that, the broadband segment is expected to see robust traction, and the margin expansion, slight margin expansion that we are seeing on a sequential basis is purely on the back of the fact that the company has been capitalizing its 5G related costs. Now, apart from earnings, the key things to watch out for from Reliance Industries earning would be their commentary on margin outlook, refinery margin specifically. Apart from that, what is their roadmap when it comes to the new energy business? What is the update on the Jio Bharat phone that they had launched few quarters back? What is the capital expenditure plans going forward? How they're planning to monetize 5G, and any commentary coming in on tariff hike would be important to track from Reliance Industries earning.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Somit. But another nifty company that's reporting its numbers is from the FMCG pack HUL, that's Hindustan Unilever. A muted set of numbers is what we're expecting. Nothing exciting here as well. 2% growth in terms of revenues, margins around an 80 basis point expansion, volumes expected in low single digit, 2 to 3% is what we're expecting the volume growth at. HUL's premium segment again is expected to do better than the mass end segment. Let's wait out for some more commentary coming in on how is the competition from the regional or local players as well. And do not forget, this time around, food and refreshment also is expected to see a low single-digit growth, given that there are some headwinds in the nutrition portfolio that is continuing. Retail milk prices that have not come off as well, so we're not expecting any sort of a price cut from Horlicks. But yes, keep an eye on commentary on that HFD segment, as well as outlook on margins and RM cost is key to watch out for, as well as any indication in terms of rural green shoots. Where is that shaping up? What's the recovery there is key to watch out for from HUL.
Well, absolutely. With that, we'll keep our eye out on all these earnings coming out today. HUL, Ultratech Cement and Reliance will be the key ones to watch out for. But with that, we're completely timed out on this edition of Market Cafe. Thanks so much for watching. What's key to note is implied open is now shifted towards the green. Vinny, finally, we can hope for some positivity today, hopefully. But it's curtains down on this edition. You don't go anywhere. The market will take the action ahead.